Fuel. So the first point that I want to talk about and consider for fuel, and what we talk about just when we discuss the word fuel, and from here forward, we're going to go over things like fueling strategies for different events, fueling strategies to recover from events, fueling strategies leading up to the competition, fueling around training, fueling as a base support relative to your training, fueling as a base support for different training levels, supplementation, coordination of food for the event itself as we get closer. We want to consider those things. The number one thing I want to start with, though, is basically introducing and discussing a concept or a piece of homework that I'm going to get you to do, which is a food diary. So we constantly ask people to provide that for us, no matter what their food profile looks like. Number one, it creates a data point, a starting point for people where their food is, so it allows us to understand that. Number two, it creates a huge awareness for folks when they start writing their food down. So what I'm going to ask you to do in terms of homework, just underneath the fuel piece, first and foremost, is to write your food down. Food diary. And you can provide it in the comments section, or you can send it to us. We can use it as examples if you wish. I want you to write it down and do it for 5 days. And you have to include everything. And if you want to share that with us, that's fantastic because other people will get to see it. But we want to see the exact contents of everything that you do. The reason why the diary is important as well as recording of it, as I said, is because we get to analyze it to see exactly if you're supporting the pieces you need to do to ensure you're going to get the right training piece, response, and effort out of your training. And for competition as well, so you can get that stuff together right now. So by doing a food diary, the basic context what you do is take 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to write down everything. Okay? Put it in a Google document, put it on a piece of paper, record that as much as necessary. And the key thing is that you want to be very descriptive in terms of it. Okay? So you can't just say meat and potatoes or chicken and veggies or bar and shake. You have to be very specific on the protein and carbohydrates of that shake, what was in it exactly. Did it have a tablespoon of honey and this many berries and this much flaxseed and this much whey protein? Got to be very specific on that. For supper time, try to estimate sizes, 6 ounces of chicken, this many potatoes, this many carrots, things like that. Timing of meals are also important too. So you're going to lay out the time is exactly what that is. The whole idea around creating the food diary is such that you get an appreciation for, number one, your food quality and the amount of food that you take in. And when people don't do this, they lose awareness, and it creates inconsistencies, and generally it comes back to haunt them when they want to create consistencies in their training. So first and foremost, thing you need to do is to create a diary. And write that down for 5 days. Okay? A 5-day piece. Because you can get lots out of seeing it for 5 days, and include for sure a weekend day out of those 5 days. Week and weekend days. Key. First and foremost. We want to take that food diary and send it to comments. Right? So we can look at it and analyze it. We can share with everyone else. But doing the food diary is going to be our very first step in trying to create an organization and a plan based on what our food profile should be. In further subsequent videos, I'm going to give you some insight into how you should plan it based upon different examples. Maybe I'll take someone's specific example and questions they had and try to help them based upon that. And just to give you an idea, we have no biases in terms of what food profile people should have. We're definitely working, we want to work largely towards a large, whole food, quality food profile. But as far as macronutrient divisions and what people require for work and things like that, it's so individualized. And training food and fueling is completely different than competition fueling. So how you'll eat during the week right now and the weekend will differ completely closer to the competition and what it looks like. And practicing the fueling through your training piece is going to be really key too, because that's going to allow you to get you some insight into what's the best things for you that's going to be used for your fueling for a long period of time, to keep mental acuity, to ensure you have good muscle tendon junctions working correctly, to ensure you're hydrated, to ensure you maintain electrolytes, yada, yada, yada. And that can be done through practice. So if you train for 6 months, don't practice any of the fueling, all of a sudden you change your fueling plan up, you may shit the bed come that weekend because your body is not used to using those fuels appropriately. So the time to practice now, and the first thing you're going to do to start practicing that is create a food diary, write your food down, be very specific and detailed with it, send it to us, let us take a look at it, and we'll also provide some examples of going forward as to what we can do when we see some of those diaries so that we can build upon it.